What's good, listeners? Welcome to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
It is fabulous. I'm loving it. I'm going to the snow tonight. I'm going to play in the snow tomorrow. I am so excited.
Oh, hey, were you one of those kind of people during the middle of the week that was like running outside, with the mix of like hail and snow, like trying to do
I
snow
was
angels
actually
on the ground?
running. I was actually running with my dog, and it started hailing, and we did go back home. I was like, "Oh my god, it's hail!
They're
Let me
like,
leave."
yeah, you're like, this kind of hurts a little bit. Not gonna
Mhm.
lie, that's hilarious. Well, we always like to do this at the top of the show. We always like to talk about what's happening at the moment as of this Friday at 10 a.m. on March 3rd. And I know Morgan Wallen's kind of creating up a storm right now. He is the country star that's in the heart of Music City, USA, which is Nashville, Tennessee. He was giving away free tickets yesterday for his album release show, One Thing at a Time LP at Bridgestone Arena. I know there's a lot of funny, goofy videos out there where people were like, a lot of women, I gotta say, bringing their laptops in line, literally working while waiting to get their free ticket to get in. The lines were massive. And, there was a funny debate that was happening online, Marissa. And, come back up on screen
Uh-huh.
because I think it'd be
What?
kind of funny to get your thought on this. Um, so the guys at Barstool Sports, it was just the guys in this one video clip. They were talking about who is more popular,
Mhm.
Morgan Wallen or Aaron Rodgers. And this is all age demographics, not
Yeah,
just our generation. On the top of your dome, who comes across as more popular in the
Aaron
United
Rodgers.
States? That's what I was thinking. A lot of them were like basically, oh, Morgan Wallen's got that demographic and this and that. Not everybody and their mom knows the NFL. I get it, but when you have a 10-year track, like I think he's been 15, 16 years in the league
Yeah,
for Aaron
come on.
Rodgers, where all we keep hearing about is him going into the dark, contemplating
Mhm.
retirement, maybe doing a Brett Favre move and going to the New York Jets. Really? That made me laugh. And also, Marissa, I got to get your opinion on
Yeah.
this because I thought this was kind of funny. Fallout Boy got a lot of people excited because they announced the track list this morning for their brand new upcoming LP, So Much for Stardust. And one track stood out to me, and
Okay,
that
which
is
one?
a song called The Pink Seashell,
Ooh.
featuring Ethan Hawke's. Uh,
All right, that's
what do you
rude. I think like why?
Yeah, because like my
Why? So I want to know.
yeah, my first reaction was, I was, I kind of jinxed it before the show. We were kind of talking before the countdown was going down right now, and I was like, "Do you ever remember that Avenged Sevenfold song exist where they brought on Neil deGrasse Tyson?" And what did you tell me?
Oh, I don't know.
You told me you had no idea who Neil
Oh,
deGrasse
that,
Tyson
yeah, on the
was.
conversation, I was like, "What did I tell you?" Yeah, I was like, "Who? What are you
I
talking
don't know.
about?"
I just sort of giggled because anybody that follows the Chris Collins show and loves you as our co-host, you're the biggest fanatic of going to Mars. And I would have thought that this individual,
I
Neil
know, I've been
deGrasse
like,
Tyson, is someone
"What?
that you would have known. But the reason
What?"
why I mentioned that is Neil
Mhm.
deGrasse Tyson clearly is not singing on the Avenged Sevenfold song, but he's like doing this like commentary in between like guitar solos and stuff. Do you think Ethan Hawke's is gonna talk over it? Or do you think he's gonna actually show off his singing chops?
I'm gonna say singing chops.
Yeah, I think there might be something hidden that we don't know about
I
Ethan
think
Hawke's. I
singing
mean,
chops.
he
I'm gonna
loves
go
to
with.
do a lot of those like art house films.
Mhm.
I believe he's sang before. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what's good. But I know we got a very fun and exciting show because our CCS video game contributor and my co-host of Rage Quit, our video game talk show, will be joining us for our Just Talking segment as we'll be talking about gaming news, industry talk, viral meltdowns, and so much more. And make sure you follow HenricK The WrecK, literally at HenricK The WrecK. And also check out my music podcast series, Off the Fret, more music talk, with a new episode coming at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today.
Woo,
So that
woo,
is
woo,
my
woo,
eighth installment
woo,
with country star Amanda Cooksey. And I love how Morgan Wallen's created up a storm in the Music City, USA, because that's exactly where Amanda's at. And you better move over, Morgan Wallen, or you better leave her a spot on your upcoming tour because this cat is here to stay in the country scene. But all right, listeners, it is time to rock and roll. This one's called Say It.
I'm beyond livid.
That's what's been irking me like crazy.
Psycho X.
We hope that he grows from this.
No, legit, I was trying to figure that out also.
Whatever's on our mind, there's something that's been griping.
So, I get to just say it.
That's my question, Marissa. What's good, listeners? This is Say It, and please join in on the conversation. That is the beauty about our platform. You guys get to join in on the live conversations. If we deem that your comment is appropriate enough to be brought into the mix, we will feature you live on air. So let me set the tone. This week, the Supreme Court heard an oral arguments from both supporters and opponents of President Biden's student debt forgiveness plan. Here is the teachers union boss outside the Supreme Court making her case about canceling student debt.
Frankly, and this is what really pisses me off, during the pandemic, we understood that small businesses were hurting, and we helped them, and it didn't go to the Supreme Court to challenge it. Big businesses were hurting, and we helped them, and it didn't go to the Supreme Court to challenge it. All of a sudden, when it's about our students, they challenge it, the corporations challenge it, the student loan lenders challenge it. That is not right, that is not fair, and that is what we are fighting as well when we say cancel student debt.
And the reason why I decided to show this clip for everybody on Say It is this seems to be the one that's been circulating the most when it comes to Joe Biden's student forgiveness plan. Some people are saying it's a very passionate speech. Others are saying that it's a very big meltdown. And I'm curious on what you think, Marissa, because I know this is the $500 billion question. How will the court rule? I know for myself personally, I find it, I absolutely agree with the teachers union boss here. I know some people felt like she was a bad look to be speaking on this. I don't understand really why. I feel like she's definitely got a case because especially when we were handing out all these stimulus payments, no one ever questioned the PPP loans that we gave out to numerous people. And let me just read you some facts that I've got on CNBC about the PPP loans. And the federal government has forgiven almost $400 billion. That's about $1,200 per person in the United States, and more than 4 million loans to businesses through this Paycheck Protection Program, also known as PPP. More than 1 million of those forgiven loans were to companies with just one employee, and at a cost of $13 billion. That is the average of $11,500 per job. So we are not even going to challenge this in court to save these quote unquote local and corporate businesses. I don't see where anybody has to argue that we can't forgive the students who were essentially supposed to be protected under the HEROES Act of 2003. But I'm curious on what you think, Marissa. Do you stand by this? Do you think this is an ugly look? Would you rather see somebody else, speak on this matter?
So the speech, while impassioned, was not articulate, did not put the point across in a way that's going to reach people who are making the decisions who don't have the student loan burden. Okay. Anybody who has a student loan is obviously going to go forgive and cancel. Right? That's just how it's going to go. Here's the difference. The PPP was sent so that corporations would not lay off employees, keeping payroll going. Now, did people scam? Did corporations take advantage? If you had a great accountant, you got a PPP and you got it forgiven.
But I think that's the point that she's referencing,
no, it's not
right?
The point. That's
it
totally
wasn't challenged.
No, it's totally different because here's where that one to me had the PPP, forgive it. My family's business was able to pay their employees. They got it forgiven. All the right, they should. Okay, and it was used legitimately to pay employees, not just go buy a house. Okay, so there are fraudsters that need to be convicted. Now, when it comes to student loans, here is the difference. I took out a loan to get an education knowing I had to pay it back. PPP loans were given out knowing you could get them forgiven. First
Not
off,
necessarily.
in the very beginning, it was when you came out here. They go, if you show that you have it, we will look at forgiving that. Now they didn't say across the board, but I know that when you went into, I even looked into PPP. I'm like, how can I get a PPP? I'm self-employed, right? I don't obviously have somebody under me. The student loan, what they need to do instead of just forgiving, and I've harped on this, and it's very different than what you said, is they need to go in, just like they did with the housing market, they need to forgive the compound interest, which most student loans are under, all the interest that was been accrued, needs to be forgiven. The balance I took out, I should pay. I should pay. I got an education, but you know what? Give it to me in an interest rate that makes sense. A 12.9. Right on here, when I can have a 4.25 fixed, like usually with the housing, let us so I can pay my principal back. You can't pay principal on most of these student loans.
Yeah, no, I absolutely hear you on that one. We actually ran out of time on this, Marissa, but I think I think you got strong points, and I think there's going to be a big discussions around this. This is going to be going on until the month of June, so we'll be definitely following this. But stick around as we have more left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. The audio got going way too early. Oh, that's hilarious. But hey, what's good, listeners? Our guest on Just Talking is my co-host of Rage Quit, video game talk show, HenricK The WrecK, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. How's it going, fam?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you two?
Oh, we're doing fabulous, HenricK. And before we discuss the world of gaming, since, our video game talk show is about, or is called, Rage Quit, why don't we have some fun, HenricK, and let's talk about some of these awesome freakouts that are in the scene. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of these viral ones. I'm going to go ahead and showcase it live here on the stream.
You can make a monster!
Come on, every single kid I know at least needs to be terrified at least once, maybe 3 times on VR. that clip never gets old. That's from a Twitch streamer named Reggie Weber. And I don't know about you, HenricK. I mean, have you ever terrorized a kid when you ever played video games?
I'm pretty sure I terrorized my little sister when we were growing up.
What was that game that you used to do?
Oh, you just play like a horror game of some sort, and then I'd like scare her afterwards, try and pretend like I'm one of the monsters or something.
Were you one of those people that used to set up that PC game where you remember that used to have the maze, and then like the minute you hit like a wall and it's like, like the big scare?
I know exactly which one you're talking about. I probably did pull it up for her, actually.
I have a feeling that you used to do this back in the day, and I got another clip for you.
The Xbox. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Come on. No. Yeah, you can. Turn it off.
Oh, poor baby.
I was joking.
So he didn't think that was necessarily too funny. So
that was cruel. That actually was cruel. The very end. The funny part, trying to get off. Cruel at the end.
Doesn't everybody want to at least do that one time? I mean, I know I don't have any kids, but I know my older brother does, and I kind of feel like doing this at least one time to them. It's a genius thing. I feel like even my older cousins have done that to me at least one time. So have you considered it, HenricK?
I mean, I've been in that position multiple times, but, growing up, my parents, they didn't quietly ask, after the second time. They just unplug it.
Oh.
So it's just all right, well, I guess I'm getting off the computer.
Okay, well, I have a feeling when things don't go your way, HenricK, this is the kind of person that you react to when you tend to rage quit. So let's go ahead and play that.
Oh,
that
man.
you, Henrik, when you play video games? 'Cause I know there's a few times I'd like to throw my controller across the room, but I only have like one really
That's
good
funny.
controller. The rest of my directional buttons are broken on my PlayStation, so I think I like to keep them intact. But have you ever had a meltdown like that before?
You know, I can't say I have, but I think that's a little destructive.
That
Are
was a
you
little
sure?
intense. That was a little intense.
Yeah.
Maybe just list it as a business expense, After all, you're going to be a Rage Quit talk show after all. So, and let me go ahead and play one more because I think you'll laugh at this. I love my toddler video games, and
Come
me.
back! No! No!
So this is Fall Guys for anybody that doesn't know this game. And yes, Marissa, girls have meltdowns too.
It should
Oh,
be!
I know.
These trash fucking tail games should be who has the tail for the longest, not whoever clutches it at the end.
I know everybody feels for that one round because it's always like that round before you go into the finals that like you can get the golden crown. And so when you see this, do you agree with that stance in Fall Guys? Should it be whoever holds the tail the longest, or it should be whoever holds onto it at the very end, like when the timer hits 0?
Probably when the timer hits 0, honestly, because the game, it's all about getting to that point, the end goal, isn't it?
I agree. I'm with Henrik. You gotta be sneaky.
I'm just saying.
Be crafty and just come at the end and go pluck, pluck. Thank you.
You know what's so funny that you said that, Marissa? That's exactly the strategy that I do. I know that there's like a minute 30 on the clock. I'm like, why run around with the tail? Your heart will be like literally like coming out of your chest. So just wait until the last 20 seconds, stock a homie, and then swoop on it at the very last second. That's how you play it, girl.
That's how you win, y'all.
That's how you win, y'all.
There you go. There you go.
But HenricK The WrecK, let's talk about Rage Quit, our video game talk show. And what got you into gaming?
Oh, well, I always grew up with my older sister. She was playing on the N64, and I was like, oh, I want to play the N64 too, like kind of have some fun. So I tried playing some of the games, and, I was way too young to really understand what I was doing. But, you kind of, after a bit of time, kind of actually understand like, oh, okay, this button does this. This button does this. If I go here, I can do this. And ever since then, I kind of just, got hooked on gaming. And, it's been a thing that I've pretty much been doing ever since.
Yeah, I'm
That's
quite
awesome.
surprised.
My daughter just got into video games. Literally, probably about 3 months ago. And I have to steal it. I have to like take it back and like turn it off so that she can go ahead and just play and do anything. Like it's insane how much she loves video games. I have a little video.
I think what surprises me the most is, Henrik, you just said that you started off with the Nintendo 64, so the Game Boy Color never came into your life?
It came afterwards. So after I got into playing the N64, that was when my parents were like, let's give him something, partly because I really wanted it, so I was kind of begging them for it, but they gave me a Game Boy Color, and I know specifically which one it was. It was the Pikachu edition one that came with Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So many memories with that one.
See, you were the Pikachu. You went with the yellow. I remember I went with the Bulbasaur. I had the blue one. So, and then I remember my little bro had the Charizard. Yeah, we were collecting those for years. But on the top of your dome, what are like the top 3 must-play video games of all time? You have to have at least your top 3.
I mean, my top 3 is a little interesting, but I'll say definitely for sure The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That's the game I started on, and it's one of the best games out there even today, I'd say. Really held up. After that, I'd say, considering how obsessed I was with Halo 2 when it came out, I'd definitely say Halo 2 because it's the best in the franchise. And then after that, I'd probably say, I'll throw a curveball in here and we'll say Nier Automata, because that storyline is very much a storyline that can only be told in a video game.
See, I would have never expected you to say that. You know Grand Theft Auto? That never came into a factor.
Oh,
You
I
know,
like
that
I
was
mean,
like one of
that's
the
on
greatest
that's
open world games
there
of all
too,
time.
obviously. But you
How about
said only
Mario
3,
Go-Kart?
so
Yeah,
I
what
learned how
about
to
Mario
drive.
Go-
I learned how to drive from Mario Go-Kart. That's how I drive, legitimately.
Yeah, I was also
Just-
starting to think.
If anybody's driven in the car with me, they will attest. I do drive like that.
What about Super Smash Brothers?
no, never get in the car with Marissa.
Nope.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get there fast.
Actually, I found that out within the first 30 days of working with Marissa. But no Super Smash Brothers? Nothing like of that nature? Doesn't
You
feel
know,
like
Super
Oh,
Smash
hold on.
Brothers is good
We have a
too.
comment real fast. Where'd it go? Good morning, Chris and Marissa from
Oh, Eric, what's
626
good, buddy?
and Super Mario. Yes, what I'm talking about. See?
Yeah, you can't leave that out because that's like a pillar of the gaming community, really. When you think back to what revolutionized the gaming industry, that's one of the games that did. So I agree on that.
It's so true. And then, you know, when you started realizing that, you know, gaming was a part of your hobby, and then you started realizing that, like, rage quit could be your career. You know, it even sounds like we got a dog that's rage quitting right now as we speak throughout this whole interview. It's
Oh,
very
is that
funny.
on Henry's side? I think so.
Yeah, no, I can.
Oh.
Is that you?
No, it's all good.
Somebody's got a
Might be
puppy
my
dog.
neighbor.
No, you're good. I'm just laughing. I'm like, who the hell is raging out this entire time? He's like, let me in. But anyways, what sort of persona are you trying to strive to build when it comes to our video game talk show, Rage Quit?
Oh, well, you know, I'm the kind of person who is very open-minded when it comes to trying different games, but I have a very strong opinion when games are not that good, and we've seen plenty of that so far this year in 2023. So you can think of me as the person who'll be like, that game's bad, let's talk about it, why is it bad?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I have to say, I watched your episode. I couldn't catch it live because I was working, but I caught it afterwards on YouTube. And I think that I liked it so much because I don't play video games a lot. I'm more of that watcher and kind of in like the fringe of listening to your conversation. And I was able to follow it. I loved all the graphics, the videos you guys put out there. I was like, yes. I was really, really, really impressed with your first show. So kudos, you two. And if anybody hasn't checked it, go to the Chris Collins Show on YouTube. You can find it, click it. It's only a 30-minute episode. It is short, it is sweet, and it's to the point. So kudos, you guys.
Rock and roll. Well, I appreciate that, Marissa Pitts. That's kudos. I appreciate that because that's exactly what our mindset is with Rage Quit, the video game talk show. You don't necessarily have to be a gamer, but if you want to be in the now and you want to know what's good, what's popping up in the
And
ether
sounds
today,
smart.
and sound smart.
That sounds smart.
That's hilarious.
Marissa, you play video games? I'm like, no, I watched Rage Quit.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm in the now. And let's start talking about some of this gaming news that's circulating across the globe. I know the Olympics announced the very first Olympics esports series, which is fascinating. I actually have a trailer for it that will be playing in the background. So, you know, they got 9 different games that they're going to be implementing. This is it right here. Tune it down just a little bit. Oh, I don't want to be on the big screen. But this is what they advertised. They weren't necessarily showing gameplay right away, but then they did release a second trailer later on in the day. So they're going to be doing chess. They're going to do taekwondo, which I thought was a little strange. You're going to do tennis. You're going to do cycling. Or tic-tac-bow, like archery. Why are these lame-ass games the ones that they suggested to do instead of anything else?
That's what I'm saying. Like, are we doing Wii Sports in the Olympics now? Is that what's going on? Like, come on,
dude. It's hilarious that you said it, especially with this tennis clip right here. You ever seen the one where they're all up against the net and they're going?
Oh, I like the duckies.
I feel like this should just be called Nintendo, sponsored by the Olympics esports series, because I think what most cats would have really liked to see was actually more of, you know, like Super Smash Brothers. Or what about, I know they did say, like the Gran Turismo. That game is going to be one of the featured racing games for the year. But, like, how will they be able to choose which video game gets featured or not? Because I feel like this is going to be, like, sort of like a bidding war on who's going to get represented. Is
Who
it
has
going
the
to be
most money? Like, I'll pay you to let me on it and feature?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think you're
that's
right.
what I
That's
think
true,
it is.
Marissa. So what do you think, HenricK The WrecK?
I mean, it's going to be definitely one of those things where, like, if they do decide to do other games than these, they're going to have to really give a case as to why to put that specific game in there. And then also, I'm pretty sure, like Marissa said, it's going to be, we'll give you this money. So put our game in the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. Like I sort of was thinking like, why isn't Call of Duty there? And then my first reaction was, oh, of course Call of Duty's not in the mix because they're under, the FTC. I know the Europe's, under fire because about the whole acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So even if they wanted to even submit their game into the mix, they couldn't because then maybe Sony and Nvidia, the manufacturing company for computer chips, or graphic chips, excuse me, they would be going after the company and putting more leverage on them in federal court. So it's unfortunate. Keep a lookout. It's going to be happening on June 22nd to June 25th. You can actually submit to be a qualifier now. So, esports series. We'll see what's good. But, Henrik, we tried to talk about this during the Season 14 opener, but we had some technical issues. But I wanted to revisit it again. The video game adaptions. Has the video game curse been lifted? I know a lot of people are excited about The Last of Us HBO series. Are you a fan of this?
I think that they're doing a really good job with it. When we did that episode, I think only a couple of episodes had really been out so far.
Yeah,
but now that it's been is it 7 or 8? I forget.
7 already.
7.
Yep.
7. There you go. Yeah,
Don't
8 is
spoil
this
the
week.
7th. Nothing on this. I haven't seen the 7th yet.
I won't for you, Marissa. But I recommend watching it. But it's been good so far. I've really enjoyed watching it with my girlfriend. Actually, she just went through the game, so it's kind of like an interesting perspective for her. I think that they did a really good job in being faithful to the games, but then also changing little things here and there to be like, if you played the games, here's a little thing that's a little different. So it's still a little interesting to you if you feel like just copying outright is a little
so
boring,
what's one thing? What's one thing without giving him like the whole plots away of something? What's one thing that was different? Because I've never played the video game, so I have no idea what's
tell
different.
you one thing that's different, Marissa. There is no nail bomb. There's not enough.
That is true.
That is true. There's not enough stealth in the show. I actually really like the first 2 episodes, but I'm starting to think that this is like a 7 out of 10 series, in my opinion. I'm not very. I think it's very cool that it's like introducing people to the world of The Last of Us, because when I played it back in 2013, I really thought it was one of the greatest games of all time. I still do. I probably have played this game like 4 or 5 times in a row. It's that much fun. But then when you only get to see at least like maybe 3 or 4 clickers, in the whole 7 episodes going in, and we only have 2 episodes left, that's kind of, to me, I feel like a bit of a disservice, because it's too much of like politics and the way that people live. And I know that like even during the set, there's been reports that have came out that like even the director of the HBO series is like, don't use the Z word. That's banned on set. And they're like, what do you mean? Zombie. Because this is not your normal zombie show. Well, clearly it's not. There's not a whole lot of action, unless a little bit towards the tail end of the
Needs
episode.
more action.
Marissa hasn't
I'll just be honest with you. It needs more
does.
action. Needs to look more like a video game. I was really impressed the very first episode. I felt like I was like in a video game in the beginning when they were going to the cars and the shooting, like a first person position. I was like, yes. And then a little bit on the second episode, and then it went away. It was like,
and let me show you a comment that I got about that second episode, because IGN responded back to me, and this was towards the very end of the second episode, where Tess is getting French kissed by a zombie, which was the weirdest thing. I said, a great episode that sort of left the bad taste in your mouth at the end, no pun intended. And they go, pun absolutely intended. Really, IGN? And so they went off on this whole micro content saying that like, because they didn't want to introduce the idea of the spores, because they didn't want to put, the gas mask on the actors, because they didn't want to cover their faces. I kind of wish the spores were in the HBO series. I think what they're trying to implement doesn't really work.
But no, why not have it? I mean, come on, we lived the last couple of years with masks. Why not have it where you have the bandana still, while you have it, and then when you're around someone, your inner circle, right? You pull it down, you're here, you're connecting. I mean, why not still have that? To me, that's more realistic than the sport, like the
Or I'll
kissing.
probably like spoil it a little bit of it in part 2. I don't really care. You guys are all listening in right now, but like there's a big moment where the gas mask, she has to rip it off in the second game to unveil to one of her friends that she doesn't get infected by spores. So how is that going to work in the second, season 2 if they just completely remove the whole idea of the spores? We could go on for this forever.
We'll find out. That might be one of those differences.
It might be, yeah. They might be like, oh, I got bit, but I'm not gonna turn. Don't worry, something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly. And I know since we're talking about video game adaptations, one of the biggest news that dropped yesterday was that Dead by Daylight, the horror survival multiplayer game, HenricK The WrecK. Well, Bloomhouse Studios and Atomic Monster are going to be creating a film adaptation of that video game franchise. Is it even possible to expand this into a cinematic universe?
I kind of see it like, I don't know if you remember, I think it was Universal tried to do like a monster extended universe, like an MCU kind of thing, but with all their monsters. I see it being maybe something like that, considering that Dead by Daylight is one of those games where you get to play as all these different slashers from different iconic horror films. I think that could be interesting. They'd better not try and just copy Marvel, though, because that doesn't work. We've definitely seen that does not work.
Don't you think it'd be kind of difficult, though, for Bloomhouse Studios, especially since they're starting to make some noise with Get Out and Nope and etc., but they don't necessarily have ties to, like, Freddy Krueger, or any of these other guys. So they might have to go off on their own separate monster. I'm even blanking out on what the guy's name is right now on the top of my dome. But I kind of have a feeling this is going to be like a knockoff of Stranger Things, but an adult version. That's
a good point. It could be, yeah. I mean, it would, I think, be a better choice, obviously, if they went with something more original, where they're not like pulling things from other franchises, or like I said, pulling monsters from different iconic series. So that could be interesting, though, like making it kind of like a Stranger Things kind of thing.
But I guess my real question that I'm trying to say, but I'm not articulating it very well. Do all video games work for cinematic universes? Because I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think this is one of those examples. So
I mean, it definitely could be. I mean, like I said earlier, one of the games that was in my top 3 from that list, it's a game that can only really be told in a video game. So there's games out there that they just don't translate. Unless you really heavily change everything.
What would be necessary? Like, let's say I was a producer, right? And I was like, I love this video game. I think it's great, and I want to make it into a movie. What would I need to look at? What qualities would I need to be like, that's going to make a good series?
My first thing would be, Marissa, just stick to the script. I think that's going back to The Last of Us. There's certain things that, it was kind of cool to kind of switch it up on us a little bit. But then, like, when you're going to do this whole, like, just let Tess die. You didn't need to do all that. Just let her die. It would have been cool if they just grabbed her head and ripped it off or something. But instead they had to do this whole sappy-ass, lovey-dovey melodrama at the end, being like, what happens if you just didn't, fight back against the zombie? This is how everybody dies if you so choose. Really? Really? Yeah, no wonder you're not the Z word.
About you, HenricK, what's one thing that they need to do?
Well, I think that since video games are so interactive, and a lot of the story is told in things where you're doing things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's following a set guideline of like, okay, linear progression. Here you go from here to here. That doesn't always translate, because someone's going to watch that and be like, I never went there. Why did they put that in the game or in the series?
So, we'll have to see what's good. So Dead by Daylight is definitely getting a film adaptation by Bloomhouse Studios, who also reported, which we talked about on Rage Quit, our very first episode. They're actually going to be developing their own independent video game. So that will be really cool. And since we only got like a minute left, I felt like it'd be kind of fun to share this real quickly. We sort of talked about it a little bit on our show, which was the whole Chat GPT. So do you got a thought on that? HenricK The WrecK, after, a couple days out, because what we found out with ChatGPT is that NetEase, they are a video game company, is going to be releasing a video game where you can actually use AI tech in the game. So in this tweet, it says, through AI tech, it would create conversations that are fully voiced, emotive, and impactful. For example, you could tell a character the house is on fire, they'd rush home, or you could cause a rift between two NPCs that are in love. And this is all being used with only your voice input or a mere text description. Is this even possible? I mean, I was going off on Rage Quit about how I feel like you got to have the best internet connection to even be able to do Chat GPT. But do you think this is a little too early, HenricK The WrecK, to be implementing this into video games?
It might be a little too early because the tech is still not perfect either. There's a lot of flaws that come to light when people sit down and try and break it. So it might be a little too early, but at the same time, I will say, with concepts like this, or any concept at all, really, there has to be some scapegoats to start things off. So if they introduce this and it doesn't really go over too well, I think that when they eventually do other games with this idea, they'll probably start to learn from their mistakes that this game is going to do if they're going to make plenty of mistakes, I'm sure.
Oh, trust me, there are going to be plenty of mistakes. I mean, especially when we saw that last week interview in the Digital Trend where they were talking about how, Bing was like telling the reporter to dump its wife. I'm a real human. All this kind of stuff. You don't think people are going to manipulate the system? It's going to be a lot of fun. But we actually ran out of time on Just Talking. But I do want to give a huge shout out again to my co-host, HenricK The WrecK of Rage Quit, the video game talk show. We're going to be talking about gaming news, industry talk, viral meltdowns, and so much more. So for anybody that wants to follow you as you're constantly letting everybody know in the now what's going on in the video game world, where can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, so if you go to bio.link/HenricK The WrecK, you'll find links to all my social media. I post on Instagram, not Facebook, sorry, no one uses Facebook now. TikTok,
it's
Twitter,
actually Meta,
bro.
Meta.
Oh, that's true. It's Meta, not Facebook anymore.
Come
My
on,
bad.
man.
But yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and eventually Twitch. I'll be on there as well, streaming some just chill content, hanging out with people.
Rock and roll. Well, HenricK The WrecK, I appreciate you so much, and I will see you on Tuesday morning, my friend, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you, the CCS family, I hope to see you there as well. And for everybody that is joining us right now on the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show, stick around as we have so much more left here at the half-hour mark. What's good, listeners? This is Strike a Chord, and we're actually going to be doing something different since we have no musical guests this week. But I'm very excited because my 8th installment of Off the Fret, More Music Talk podcast is releasing today at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, featuring Nashville country star Amanda Cooksey. And you can find this on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. But while we set that up, I just want to remind everybody, if you can go ahead and like and subscribe or even hit the notification bell, you will never miss a live show. You will be notified right on the dot on your mobile device when we're going live, or you can just put a reminder on your calendar, 10 a.m. Tuesdays for Rage Quit, Friday at 10 a.m. for the Chris Collins Show. So I've gathered some clips from the Off the Fret just to hype it up a little bit since you guys are here with us live on the Chris Collins Show. And here is Amanda Cooksey talking about collaborating with 6 different songwriters on her debut album, Him. In the making of your country album, Him, you collaborated with 6 different songwriters to tell a story of a relationship ending and the aftermath that everyone can relate to. And what are the benefits of writing music with co-songwriters? And are there any downsides to collaborating with co-songwriters? Because when I heard like 6 different songwriters, I know sometimes when I'm producing Off the Fret or the Chris Collins Show, it's like, guys, too many ears in my head. I think I got the point. We're good. So how do you view it? I want to know.
Oh gosh. Well, I love having co-writers. I mean, there's definitely, times where I prefer to just write solo. But I feel like having people in the room with you that, understand what you want to say and that know, like, I guess the concept for the song, it just helps get the idea across. And people are going to bring ideas to the table you didn't think of, or maybe you'll have a different way to say it. So I feel like I love having co-writers, especially if they're people that I've worked with a ton and know are gonna understand like my voice and my artistry.
With the new music in the works, will you continue to work with songwriters?
Oh, for sure. I'm always working with different people and the people that I love working with, and that I've worked with in the past. So definitely going to be working with other songwriters.
I think that's so cool. And from like a musical perspective, what are the most important qualities for a successful songwriter?
Oh gosh. I would say just coming in with strong ideas and giving your own, unique twist to the lyrics. I feel like that is the most important thing. And then always having like cool different melodies, you can pull from.
And so when you say unique twist to your songwriting, is it like a certain part in a song that you need to focus on, like the hook, or are you trying to do something kind of different where you don't want the verse to kind of correlate or sound the same as verse 2, or is it just kind of having fun with it? I mean, or is there no formula to the madness?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I feel like there's really no formula. Obviously, there's like the standard verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. But, other than that, it's just like what you want it to be. But I always think, having a cool, unique idea or something that people haven't heard before always stands out.
That is Amanda Cooksey, and she's got an incredible record. It's called Him, and we're actually going to be playing a music video from that LP. And this track is called Wish You Were Here, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Check, check, 1, 2. Is this thing on? Been stuck on my own little island, where you left me in radio silence. No palm trees, just memories, and that sun sure ain't shining. It's blackout shades here in my bedroom, ice cream pint stuff full of tissues. Heard you're happy wherever you are, but if I could send you a postcard, it'd say, I wish you were here, spending all of your time just swimming in tears, heartbroken like mine. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were. Feeling all of my pain, feeling like it's your fault. I wish like hell you built something at all. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were here. Maybe if you were wearing my shoes, you'd know what it's like hurting for two. They say misery loves company, but it's just me. I wish you were here, spending all of your time just swimming in tears, heartbroken like mine. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were. Feeling all of my pain, feeling like it's your fault. I wish like hell you built something at all. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were here. Oh no. Hey, hey. Here tearing up pictures. Here scotch taping, trying to fix them. Here regretting I was ever with ya. Then I miss ya and wish ya. I wish you were here, spending all of your time just swimming in tears, heartbroken like mine. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were. Feeling all of my pain, feeling like it's your fault. I wish that hell you built something at all. I wish you were, wish you were, wish you were here. Wish you were, wish you were here.
That's what's good. That is Amanda Cooksey, and that is her track, Wish You Were Here. You can find that on her LP, Him. And since we are hyping up my 8th installment of Off the Fret, More Music Talk, featuring Nashville country star Amanda Cooksey. I have another sneak preview of this amazing cat who is talking about what made her want to become a country star in the first place. Strengths that you have to become a country star. Is it, consistent with creating music, or is it the love of the music?
Man, I think for me, it was just like one, loving it and just enjoying like creating. And I think that's something that is easy to forget when you live in a town like Nashville for so long, because you start like thinking of all the things you want to achieve, and then you forget like why you're actually here, which is for the music part and like the part that you love, which is just writing songs. And I think like for me, finding my sound was really through just like enjoying it and like writing on my own for a little bit and finding myself and what I wanted to say. Because when I moved here, it was like, oh, I want to be like Miranda Lambert, but that wasn't me. I wasn't anything like Miranda Lambert. I'm not this like,
Right.
I'm gonna go, key your car or like burn your house down. That was never me.
Like I don't got that kind of like love rage, but I do definitely want to tell the story that all of us millennials, even zillennials, can relate to. Marissa, why don't you go ahead and show your case yourself up on screen? Because I gotta ask you, are you
Yes.
the Miranda Lambert type? Are you gonna burn somebody's house down, key their car if they do you dirty?
So I'm a Scorpio. I
Okay,
love
this
to
sounds like
get
a problem already. When you
revenge.
got
I have to force myself to let things go. But if I ever get revenge, it is not going to be overtly done like that. That's an Aries move. That's very Aries. Scorpio, you won't know your life destroyed until it's destroyed, and then I'll be like, see ya.
Okay.
So yeah, Scorpio, like we're a little intense. So we do wait. We'll wait for years and years and years until the right moment and destroy you.
See, I don't follow the whole horoscope landscape. I'm a Leo. That's as much as I know. How would you
Leos,
assess me?
you just go right into the moment. You say how you feel, whatever, and then you just move on. Leos have really no attachment to certain things like that. You'll do a lot of revenge fucks. So you'll be like, "Oh, you want to hurt me? Then I'm going to go out get this. I'm going to screw your best friend, something like that." So a Leo will do that. But as far as like revenge, you guys don't really do that. You just kind of like.
Yeah, I was going to say one
on.
Leo right here would say, "I've never done a revenge fuck," but gosh, I guess I still have more to live.
I said that'd be the most. I said that'd be the most a Leo would do. Leos are very self-centered themselves,
Sounds
which they should be,
horrible,
and they usually will just move on.
That sounds pretty horrible, though. I think I'd rather, I don't know, burn your house down.
Change signs then. Be an Aries.
I guess. I think you're right. I gotta go and check that birth certificate after all. But we want to keep the party rocking. Like I said before, my 8th installment of Off the Fret, more music talk, featuring Nashville country star Amanda Cooksey, drops today at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. We're going to keep this party going. I got another music video from Amanda Cooksey. This song is called What's His Name, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
We don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Jet black, deep hair, white Adidas. Walked in and he's spinning like tequila. Damn, who's that? I had to ask, 'cause I'm too curious for my own good. Everything about him told me that I should turn and run, not fall in love. But I jumped in head first, should've used my head first, should've never wondered. What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame, he had a blow. Now we don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. 'Cause what's his name? He put me through it, and now I wish I never even knew. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name? Got a laundry list of shit we call him. Saved in my phone as don't you dare call him. When You're drunk, he's still not the one. It don't roll off my lips like the way you once did. I swear I don't miss. What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame. He had a blow. Now we don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Cause what's his name? He put me through it. And now I wish I never even knew it. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name? I blocked it out of my memory. I could try spelling it out. I think it went something like D-I-C.
Okay, I guess I did forget about.
What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame. He had a blow. Now we don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Cause what's his name? He put me through it. And now I wish I never even knew it. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name?
That is Amanda Cooksey's music video, What's His Name? And you can find that on her LP, Him. And the reason we're featuring Amanda Cooksey right now on Strike a Chord is because my 8th installment of Off the Fret, More Music Talk, is going to be dropping on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts today at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we talk about it all, Marissa. I mean, some of the things that we were diving deep into is it's like, it always seems like country stars, or not even that, you know, like there's always people like I could think of like Adele or Selena Gomez, even Justin Bieber, you know, at one point always were open about talking about their past relationships. Another one is Taylor Swift.
You know, that's so funny you say that because I was like, she reminds me of a new Taylor Swift. Without copying Taylor Swift, by no means am I saying Amanda Cooksey is copying her. She just really reminds me of
everybody's
that
been
look, the sound, but she just reminds me a little bit of her willingness to talk about it, her openness, conversations when we had her on Strike a Chord.
Yeah.
She's like an open book. Like, yeah, go ahead and ask me. Here it is. Here's my life. And very fresh about it, not cynical, still optimistic.
Right.
Give her some time. I'll give her some time.
Well, I know this record, Him, was one of those self-discovery albums, I would say. I know inside that interview with Off the Fret, you will hear insight from Amanda Cooksey where she goes off about how she's trying to discover a new sound that she doesn't want to necessarily be tied to just the country genre. So she has hyped up the idea about bringing back some of her old school roots where she used to compare herself to Walker Hayes and Ariana Grande. And she also told me that
pop in there.
She wants to throw some pop into the mix, which I think is very cool. I think, you know, once you start...
It's marketable. They all end up throwing some pop in it. They all try to find that hit that's going to make their name stand out. I think it's brilliant. I think she should do it.
Yeah, I know she's very excited about the future music. She 110% stands by the concept of working with multiple songwriters. I know she also works at a PR firm. Oh, she's actually the head of PR and marketing at Demolition Music right there in the heart of Music City, USA, which is Nashville, Tennessee, where she also collaborates with other singer-songwriters to develop their music. And, you know, because, you know, a lot of the times, you know, you and I, Marissa, we used to make fun of it at times. Well, at least I'm thinking about Beyonce, right? You know, people were like, damn, you had 26 writers on
and it was
song.
like the same line over and over again.
But I agree with you,
I was
Marissa.
like that. I love B. Don't get me wrong. No hate. But I was like, why you need 26 people for that? All you needed was Chat GPT. All you needed was Chat GPT. Could have saved a bunch of money, okay? And had the same line written over and over and over again.
But
it killed
again,
me.
even with those 26, 27 songwriters, it got nominated at the Grammys.
That's what I don't
Which-
understand. But that's where comes the money. Come on. I mean, I do understand why I got nominated. Money.
Yeah.
That song was not worthy. And
It's
I love
just
Mr. B. Don't get me wrong. I'm not.
Yeah.
Please do not come after me, Beehive. Do not come after me. I love her. I love her. I love her. But we all have to admit, hot song. Love the song.
And-
Great track. But come on.
And real quickly, since we got like a minute left, do you feel like that's the reason why Beyonce's been docked all these years from never winning Album of the Year? Because again, remember, she now holds the record for the most Grammy wins, but she's still an artist without an Album of the Year. That's kind of wild, in my opinion.
I'm surprised she didn't get at least the Lemonade. I thought
that's a good point.
I'll be honest, that album should have swept. The album should have got it. That shocked me. And I think out of all of her albums, that was the one that should have taken it.
That's a very good point. That almost reminds me of the day with Kendrick Lamar, when he lost with Mad City to Macklemore. It was like, really, dog?
I know it's past, but you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's like, sorry to say. Hold on, we got a quick comment on here. I hear Marissa sings like an angel. What is it? I do sing like an angel. Want to hear my opera?
Oh, okay. Let me hit the baritone. Yeah, you guys are too much. Actually, I prefer to never showcase any of those comments ever again. We'll keep that reserved for another sideshow. But guys, stick around because we have so much more left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. And again, the 8th installment of Off the Fret, more music talk featuring Nashville artist Amanda Cooksey is dropping today on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, let's get it, fam. What's good, listeners? We like to end the show off on a lighthearted note because, that's just what we do, baby. And, Marissa, I was actually kind of thinking about you because I feel like, at one point, or maybe even myself, my first real relationship was a long distance relationship. My girl lived about like an hour and a half away, and I was like, oh my God, this is definitely not going to work out. But maybe this device would have helped everything all along. And so let me go ahead and showcase that clip for everybody that's tuning in to the Chris Collins Show live stream.
Through a lip-shaped device that plugs into your phone.
Are you sure this is not something for you?
Send someone a kiss long distance. Sensors transmit pressure, movement, and temperature data that's received by another pair of lips.
Is this cute or cringy, Marissa?
Kiss is
It's
replicated on their
cringy. It needs to
lips.
be like, first off, what's the point for it?
This reminded me of the Big Bang Theory episode. You remember this?
I do. I love that show.
When they're like tugging each other and they're so into it. Oh, it was so freaking funny.
All right, I'll be honest with you. Okay. Why not make it so that it can suck a dick or lick a vagina?
You know what?
All right, I'll be honest. Like, if we're going to be long distance on here, like, I can skip the kissing up top and get the kissing down below.
Marissa, that's so funny that you said that because a lot of people in the IG comments were like, hear me out. And then, like, I kept thinking the same thing. I'm like, what if every porn star on OnlyFans starts implementing these kind of technology into their, like, perk systems?
Yeah.
Like, it's like real time and she's like doing weird shit like that. But since you brought that up, my second thought on that was, what happens if there's a stranger on the other end? Is this considered cheating?
Well, no, because you have a relationship with the device.
But again, you're making out with somebody long distance, and I know a lot of advocates, even in that one short CNN clip I was playing, it was cut off in that video, but one guy was going, the lips are just too real. It feels too real. That's the part that makes it very creepy.
Well, they don't look very real, I guess. I mean, for me, I was like, they look fake. But I got some funny show clip.
The new pocket pussy is going to be amazing.
What TF? What the fuck? Oh my God. This was from Brandon. What did he say today? I don't know. What is that?
I think he's saying 110%.
Something. Great show today. Have a good rest of the day, fam. You too, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's so funny. But hey, again, I think the pocket pussy industry is going to totally blow up with this new fad, and maybe long distance relationships, or maybe your OnlyFans porn stars might bring you the what's good in your life. So yeah, we wanted to end the show off on a lighthearted note, but we want to also thank again my co-host of Rage Quit, the video game talk show, HenricK The WrecK, as we're going to be doing the show live every Tuesday.
Oh. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be doing the live show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, I keep harping this all in the last half-hour mark, but the brand new Off the Fret, More Music Talk podcast is dropping later today at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts with Nashville country star Amanda Cooksey. And if you want to know who our guest is going to be next week, you have to follow us on social media at Chris Collins Show so you never miss a live show. And if you want to support the show, go to thechriscollinsshow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. And for now, enjoy the weekend, fam, and I will see you next week. Peace. What's good? It's Chris from the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show, featuring alternative pop rock band Poe the Passenger, amassing over 1 million streams with their debut LP, Alinea, joins Off the Fret. More music talk. What's good, party people? Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2022, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Royals, Hurricane Highway, Cannibal Kids, Amanda Cooksey, Astoria State, Kid Dad, Resounding, Sleep Cycles, Avenues, Freckles, Weather Worn, Just True, Sophia Marie, Music Storm 2022, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat. Hello.
You would look so jazzy. I love your outfit.
How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? Everything is everything, and I guarantee you're going to hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So, if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what? I love it. Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.